Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I'm your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
And yo ho ho, ho ho ho. I'm your co-host Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot.
And
are you a pirate or are you Santa?
I was gonna say yo Joe ho ho, and then I completely stripped myself up.
We're gonna have lots of fun like that tonight,
right?
I'm sober.
Not for long. I'm your Cobra intern that has 4 calling televipers, 3 DNAs of history's greatest villains, 2 Cobra Law tentacle thingies, and a raptor in a pear tree. Codename Legion Cub.
That was tremendous. Oh, we should have when we did the Christmas carols.
12 days of Cobra.
Because it's never obnoxious to go through the entire 12 days of Christmas.
I wrote it out because this actually just started as, 10 layers of leaping is funny to me today for some reason. And I was like, I can't waste 30 minutes of the live stream just going through all 12.
And so you figure 10 layers, that's 10 destros, but you get it like 3 times. So that's 30 destros you have by the end of this. It's a lot of destros.
Yeah, it's a lot. Follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can hear the audio version of this episode this Friday. Click the follow button, click the subscribe button, and be sure to leave us a 5-star review. Your reviews help us out a lot. You spreading the word about Audible Interlude is the greatest asset we can have. We need to let the world know about Audible Interlude. It's the only way we can grow and become even bigger and better than we already are. Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast. While you're there, check out the pinned stories and get yourself some Audible Interlude merch. It will not arrive in time for Christmas, but they have sales all the time that you can take advantage of and get the best deal possible. What is available right now, but only through Christmas Day, is the Audible Interlude Christmas shirt, which if you're watching on YouTube, we have a little QR code up there now. New technology that is blocking my face, but that's okay. You'll be seeing more than enough of that the rest of the night. You can still order this shirt right now through Christmas Day, midnight on Christmas Day. It's coming down. It will never be available again. This is the Audible Interlude Saves Christmas 2025 t-shirt, beautifully designed by me. And I think it's a pretty darn neat shirt. I'm wearing it right now, but I have to keep my jacket on top of it because it's a little chilly down here in the Phantom Zone this evening. But yeah, get that QR code off the screen right now and order yourself a Christmas shirt. Exciting. I love it. I am very proud of that design. I had a lot of fun with that. And if you didn't realize, it is taken from Santa Claus Defeats the Martians or whatever. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Thank you.
I love the idea that Santa Claus conquers
them, right? Because the in your head, like if you're sort of casually thinking that movie, you're probably thinking like Santa Claus versus the Martians, or like conquers is not the first word that comes to mind, but it is the best word. You're watching us live on the Needless Things YouTube channel. My year-end video of the top 10 toys of 2025 will be going up next week on the 31st. In the meantime, tomorrow, we're keeping it kind of low-key this week. I've got a Christmas Eve. I don't usually post on holidays, but I do have something going up on Christmas Eve. Tomorrow, I've got the Rocom Toys Keshi pack is going up. And then next week, before that year-end review, I'm going to get the X-Men 97 Sentinel reviewed and one of the mask items. And Kristian and Noel, remind me off air to tell you about my first attempt at reviewing one of the mask items. It's not fit for public sharing, but I'll tell you guys about it. Sorry, public. All right, let's see here. Already talked about the shirts. Oh, we've got to talk about our schedule, you guys. Okay, so we already did our review of G.I. Joe number 16. That is available right now, wherever you get your podcasts. The audio version of that is available. We are working on ad placement. We need ads. It's what pays the bills. Between that, or if you want to support us in the super chat, any money that comes in goes into hosting, and hosting is only getting more expensive because we have been hosted. The audio version has been hosted for free since the show started because, as I mentioned, I think it was last week, like I didn't even know how long this show was going to go. I just want to pay for hosting another podcast. But after 5 years, I guess we're going to be sticking around for a while. So lots of great benefits are coming from switching who's hosting us. But that's another thing that's going to be costing money now. So all of that goes right back into the hosting, production, everything else. So check out our review of G.I. Joe number 16. Our next regular live stream is going to be on January the 5th. So be sure and put it on your calendar, 8 p.m. Needless Things YouTube channel. But between now and then, we have one more audio episode this year. And there's a little something we got to take care of, something we haven't officially done before. That's right. Next week, the first annual Audies, the Audible Interlude Year-End Awards. We will be recording those. I think when we first started talking about this, in my head, it was going to be a live show. And then somebody in the Audible Army said, you guys should wear tuxedos. And I was like, nope, not going to be live, going to be audio only. Because let me just tell you, our tuxedo budget doesn't quite cover a pair of cufflinks. But yeah, next week, the first annual Audies, Audible Interlude Year-End Awards. We took input from the Audible Army in the Facebook group and put together a list of categories. And between now and next week, we're going to figure out the winners in all of those categories. Who gets it?
Woohoo! Reverend Scott,
hey!
our good friend, in with the super chat. Nothing witty this time. Just thank you.
Hey, that'll buy
thank you.
1/2 of a cufflink. So we're on our way.
Or significantly more than that of bandwidth, which is really the more important thing. All right, let's see here. You guys, I think we can't already be. We've been having so much fun already. It can't be news time now. Is it news time? It's follow-up time.
There's actually news this week.
There's a little bit of news. But really quickly, I've got to mention something. So did you guys order anything from Big Bad in the last month or so?
I actually ordered a couple things today just to add to my pile of loot.
I was going to say, I think everything has just gone to my pile of loot.
I've had quite a few orders from Big Bad coming in over the past few weeks, and they are sending out gift labels, adhesive gift labels in every package, which I think is great. Because you spend money, we spend money on these things. But there are 6 gift labels on each sheet. However, the last shipment I got in had just a pile of them. So I'm guessing, they had all these printed up for the holiday season, and then we're closing in on their Christmas delivery deadline. And they were like, oh man, we've still got piles and piles and piles of these gift labels. Just start throwing them in.
Now I'm tempted to just go ahead and fire that pile of loot. So let's see if I can get them, because I was going to wait till next month. Because there's one other pre-order that's supposed to come out in January that I have waiting. But it's worth the extra $4.
Yeah, if you go ahead and hit that ship button, I bet you'll get a stack of those things. Yeah. You'll carry you through next year.
Yeah, because I'm still waiting on my Thunderhawk, and it's been sitting on my pile of loot. But I added a couple more things to, yeah.
But yeah, that's all. I did all of our gift wrapping on Saturday, and that's all I used. I had enough of them just to not dip into our paid supply.
Rekship chimes in with, that's really neat. Now I can pretend my order is from other people. So keeping with the Christmas spirit, I am actually, because I buy for myself year round, on the years when we do put up a Christmas tree, I am someone that when I get my shipments in, I wrap the stuff that I get myself and put it under the tree. So that way other people in the house can be like, where is this coming from? Who got that for you? Yep.
Our pal Mr. Bo Brown has a tradition of, if there's a big Masters of the Universe item that comes out around the end of the year, he'll wrap it up and put it under the tree. He did it with the classics Grayskull.
Same here.
That he's done that a few times with different items. So I think that's a lot
I
of fun. I don't have, well, one, I don't have that kind of patience. Two, I've got a channel to do reviews for.
right. I need to dig up the photos because the year that Classics Grayskull came out, I made my roommate at the time take photos of me unwrapping it and acting all surprised.
That's awesome. Our little Christmas traditions that we carry into adulthood. So that does officially bring us into the news segment, where we do have a few things to talk about. And some actual G.I. Joe news, which is not always the case. But first, before we get to that, I want to talk about Operation Recall. Operation Recall sent out an update because people have been receiving their figures. I haven't seen anything yet. Have you guys gotten any of yours yet?
Nope.
No, but I wasn't all in.
Yeah, as we've discussed, the all-in folks are getting theirs first, so I'm not really expecting anything until January, February-ish. So the good part of if you're going to be in a later shipment is apparently some of the folks who've been receiving their all-in stuff, the card backs have been bent up. Now, even Super 7, who is very, very careful about shipping, but every once in a while I've gotten a card back that's a little bent, and they've had to say, look, we simply cannot guarantee mint card backs, which that's a discussion for another day. But Operation Recall, Carson is going the extra mile because one shipping container wasn't enough. Your figures will now be coming in 2 shipping containers to protect those card backs. I will go ahead and say right now, Carson, if you're listening, just send me mine in a bag. I don't care. Save yourself some money because I will be opening them. But yeah, I mean, they've got to be as careful as possible. And my guess is it is likely a vocal minority of people who have had any issues with the card backs. But I understand if people were buying like if you are all in on Operation Recall, if you're dead serious about what is essentially a spiritual continuation of the original Real American Hero line, and you're buying, one to keep on the card, one to open, and your card backs are messed up, I get it,
Look, I was all about opening them, but I've seen some of these pictures that people have posted online, and the card art is so beautiful that I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring myself to open them. They just look so good in the packages.
Yeah. Yeah, if they were, if they were 5 POA, if they were like reaction, that's one thing. But once you get to O-ring, I can't. If I'm only buying one of each, I can't leave them on the card because it's too much of a toy at that point.
Yeah, so the Reaction Plus too. Those are also they look so good on the card that I almost. And I've actually saved all the card backs from all my Reaction Plus thus far. I don't know how long I'll hold on to them, but
right. Well, what's fun about those is in some cases you have completely new file cards.
Yeah,
and
I've thought about just flipping the file cards and putting them into my because they'll fit just fine in my bin with all my existing ones.
Yeah.
Well,
so anyway,
we've got 3 listeners, Nowhere Man, Child Scale, Model Joe's, and Silent Interlude all chiming in. So 2 of those, all the card backs were fine. Silent Interlude did say that one of his was creased, but it looks more like that would have happened before it went in the box. But also, all of them are openers. So
nice.
I'm there with you all once I get mine in.
Yeah, I've just for pure space reasons, budget reasons, whatever else. There's so little. I mean, I'm not even, when Reaction Plus started, my plan had been to buy 2 of each, and that's out the window now. I'm not even buying 1 of each anymore. Well, no, I guess I am, because they had sale. So as of now, as of this moment, I am still buying 1 of each, but certainly not 2 of each. Can't do it. But good for, once again, if you've dealt with 3D Joe's, if you've dealt with Carson, he's a stand-up guy and does his best to deliver the best product possible to his customers. And notice I use the word customers and not fans. While we're all fans, it's important to me to put in that monetary consideration of the word customer. Kind of drives me nuts when like Mattel and Hasbro refer to their customers as fans, because you're removing the monetary obligation from that. And I don't like that. Noel, would you had a little something to share there?
Oh no, I just was, had some of my card backs from Super 7.
Just savoring them.
Just had them, so I was like, hey.
But again, this message did make the point: Menti card backs are never guaranteed, because it's simply not possible. But he's going to do everything he can to get them to you. All right, next up, we've got another O-Ring update. Very exciting. Legends of the Hidden Force, the update that we've all been waiting for. They received these photos from the factory on December 18th. The factory is currently boxing up the packaged figures and should be finished within the year. Now, that phrasing is a little... within the year means by December 18th of 2026. Which I don't think is what they intended. I think they mean by the end of this calendar year. What's next? Everything will need to be shipped from China. Then once everything is in hand, we start the process of sorting everyone's orders. We're aware that tariffs could be an issue. We've talked to several peers to understand their experiences, and unfortunately, everyone's shipping has gone a little differently. And yeah, of course it has, because the tariffs themselves have fluctuated so many times. There's no standard. There's nothing anybody that, can count on. So, this slow destruction of small American business continues on. But we've got some great shots of some Legends of the Hidden Force product. I'm very excited about these, as I am about all of the O-rings. But just cool to see these are this close to being in our hands and being reviewed, because of course that's what I'm always excited about. Pop it open and discover the magic.
It's all about that content, baby.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Yeah, ask me about my shorts. Wait, let me rephrase that. Next up, Kristian, I would be willing to guess you and I had a very similar physical and verbal reaction to this.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
This blew my... Well, okay, so first of all, they teased this, a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. And I said, bring on Adventure Force, because this is clearly Adventure Team, in that vein. And I'm all about it. If Hasbro isn't going to do it, Fresh Monkey Fiction, you go get you some. And they are definitely getting them some with the Secret of the Serpent Temple action figure set. That includes, if you know that classic art of Joe Colton fighting the giant snake, this is a Joe Colton figure, complete with a really close to the Adventure Team logo, fighting a giant snake. Now, I will say, once I dug into the pictures and realized the snake is just a slug and has like no articulation whatsoever, that was a little disappointing, but it did explain the price. Did you not realize that?
No. Didn't bother me at all.
Oh, you didn't care.
In fact, part of my when I was trying to figure out my response to their social media post, because of how much I love this and how much Hasbro, well, I'll save that for grievances, but
sure.
Which,
by the way, real quick, if you are not aware, tonight brings the first ever airing of grievances here on Audible Interlude. So stay tuned.
This snake looks amazing.
Yes.
It's, a large scale. If it was articulated, as much as I love articulation, it would not look like that.
Right. And
So
that's
I love this so freaking much. It just kind of drove home to me that yes, Hasbro has been doing amazing things with the pets. And my mind was blown when that very first timber was shown with how much articulation was in him. But it doesn't always have to be that way if it can help keep costs down. Because you can still put out something that's
right.
detailed and works with the figure in so many different ways, because you get that great shot of him fighting it. And then there's that other shot where he's running away. You kind of see the snake back in the trees, and the snake doesn't look like, McFarlane Toys sculpted this to do one thing and one thing only. So,
and it's all about the toy photography.
Speaking of sculpts, how about that Shatner likeness that figure has?
I was just getting ready to mention. So the default portrait on this looks 1,000,000% to me like William Shatner, which is amazing. I love it. It's great. However, the alternate portrait, I'm getting George Lazenby off of that. Crazy.
Yep.
And I'm here for that too. My gosh.
Now
they've got secret agent bodies coming out.
Now I want this alternate reality where back in the 60s, both George Lazenby and William Shatner starred in like G.I. Joe movies.
Adventure Team
movies, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited about these portraits that Fresh Monkey Fiction are producing.
Scale Model Joe's jumping in with, how hard can it be to make a bendy wire snake? Looks at Globulus. Oh, right.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, so I'm all in on that, and it's $44.99, which I think is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I was so surprised at the price. Like, we know because of tariffs that Operation Monster Force went up to like $39 a figure, I think it is now, or close to it. And you do get a lot of accessories with Operation Monster Force figures, but considering that for $4 more, you're getting that snake, that would be $15 for Hasbro, because they charge this $15 for just blasters. So this is it's a phenomenal value. And if you are excited about this, but you haven't purchased any of Fresh Monkey Fiction's other stuff, I cannot stress to you enough, the quality of this is better in some cases than the toys that are on the mass retail shelves.
Oh, I'd say in every case. I mean, these figures, once you get them in hand, are so much higher quality than what we're getting from Mattel and Hasbro. And look, I love my Mattel and Hasbro figures. Don't get me wrong. I think they're very, very good. Some of the best mass-produced action figures we've ever gotten. But Fresh Monkey Fiction stuff, I think, is this is not opinion. I would say, if you were to create metrics of action figure quality, their figures are simply better. So yeah, very excited about this. Oh, what do we got?
Double Pale L wants to know, when's the Order of the Crimson Moon Hooded Cobra Commander coming out? Asking for a friend. I just the other day I checked the Crimson Moon
now
figures on Big Bad, and there hasn't been an update, so I think it still says like second quarter 2026.
Well, they still say fourth quarter 2025. Clearly, they're not hitting that goal.
Oh yeah, no.
We haven't even seen.
Why was I always thinking they were advertised for 2026?
No, those have been fourth quarter 2025. I think since the beginning. The 2026 were the next wave of Operation Monster Force.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, they're definitely not hitting. Clearly, they're not hitting that goal. Yeah, throw up scale model.
Just 5th quarter of 2025.
Please, no, we do not need a 5th quarter in this year of all years. Please, just let's end it. So yeah, we'll see. We haven't even seen the sort of production sample updates that Fresh Monkey Fiction typically does.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say it's going to be a little while. Oh yeah, to clear things up for everybody, as always, or as we have been doing for a couple of months now, we have 2 different feeds going on. If you are looking at a like cell phone shaped feed, a vertical feed, you can get in the other stream and get to the regular feed, which is a nice 16:9 aspect ratio. All right, so very excited about that, and that is due to come out. I think it's 2nd quarter of 2026. So I've got to think that this was probably being worked on for a while before they even announced it.
Yeah, because they didn't show this at Joe Fest.
Right.
So they did an excellent job of keeping it under wraps.
Look at this. Look at the old brain working. 2nd quarter 2026. I was right. Hooray for me. I can remember when something I pre-ordered 2 days ago is supposed to come out. That's a big accomplishment. All right, let's see. What else we got here? Oh, okay. Here we go. Are we ready? Let's do it. On YouTube, last Thursday, Friday, one of those days, Lenny and BMAC put up a little Arctic Hiss Tank Please Buy Me video, which I thought was very nice. They kind of, showed off the model of the Arctic Hiss Tank. It did not, well, it made me want one, but not in a left brain kind of way. It just made me think, oh, it'd be really cool to have that. But then my logic kicked in and I was like, yes, but then you have to have somewhere to put it and you have to pay for it and blah, 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 blah. So I have not ordered one. You have until a couple
January 5th, 4th,
5th, something like that.
Yeah.
You got a couple more weeks to order the Arctic Hiss if you so desire. But they also showed off some render reveals of companion figures for the Arctic theme. First up, and the one that I liked the most, and from what I understand, it's getting a little bit of a mixed reaction. Well, all 3 of these have been getting mixed reactions. I'm curious to know what the chat has to say about these. I really like this Arctic Steel Corps Trooper, particularly with the gas mask.
I'm not crazy about the Steel Corps just in general, but I like the body, and I think that if I were wanting to really do a full decked out like Arctic deco, I'd see if I could do some head swaps for existing figures and display them with these, with this body.
Well, the first thing I thought of was, well, here's your Arctic Big Ben. Like if you want to throw that Night Force head onto this body.
As long as the peg matches.
That's
because as someone who has done head swapping with classified figures, they all seem to be different.
Are you blowing one of your grievances early?
No.
That's a little pre-grievance.
Well, because I thought about that one. I was like, but I don't do a lot of head swapping. So, for me, that's not a problem, but I know it's a problem for others.
Silent Interlude says, I'm skipping the Hiss, but I want these guys and the Night Vipers.
Yeah, I really dig this figure. I mean, I'm not going to get more than one, because I really just want to display it with that gas mask. It has this, it's the one that came with Big Ben, right? But
I would think
it just has this cool look to it. So I want to have that trooper specifically.
Rexship says, the Arctic Steel Corps was so close to being Arctic Big Ben from that one special set in between A Real America Hero and G.I. Joe versus Cobra.
Yeah, and that was my first exposure to Big Ben, so I like that winter look for him. But I'm not going to. I won't be doing the head swap. I talked about whether you can or not. This is just I dig this look. Next up, the Arctic Saw Viper, which I think is pretty neat, but for me, is a pass.
Well, when I first saw this pop up I thought this was a Blizzard figure because it has that similar visor, and I was like, "Oh no, that's just a Saw Viper repaint." But
It does look like that big wonky Blizzard helmet. Oh, here we've got to address this real quick. So it was not confirmed to my ears anyway. If somebody has other information, and you may well, whether these were single figures or a 3-pack. People are referring to them online as a 3-pack, but I watched the video.
The video gives the impression that they're individual releases.
That's what I presumed.
The only thing that suggested it might be a 3-pack is at one point Lenny says it's 2-on-1, but that could just mean in this release how they're. I don't know. So I have not seen it confirmed that it's a 3-pack, but I don't follow every single news source out there, so I don't know.
I want to. Kevin Riddle is saying, I like this 3-pack, but I did order a hiss and need the troops. So I think you are the first person in the Army that has said that they ordered it. So,
no, I think a few people last time we talked about it. I believe there were a few people who came in and said, "Yeah, we're getting it." So if it has been confirmed.
Oh, yep. Here we go. A few people. Carlos Salinas saying BMAC from the Joe team said 3-pack in an interview with the Adventures in Collecting podcast.
Okay.
Oh, okay. The unofficial G.I. Joe Classified podcast. Good for them.
That saves me from worrying about buying this now.
Yeah, because I definitely wanted the Steel Core Trooper. The Saw Viper was a no for me, and then this one I thought was really cool, and it was a maybe. But if it's a 3-pack situation, then I'm just going to pass because who knows how much that's going to be.
They have not done any multi-packs that are both Joe and Cobra yet in Classified. I don't think, have they? They've all been like 2 or 3 packs where they're all on the same side. So.
Whoa! Brian Fabian with the super chat. Merry Christmas. Love the show. Keep up the great work.
Whole set of cufflinks.
Thank you so much, Brian Fabian. That is awesome. That again, that all goes back into hosting or whatever we got to do to keep the show going. We appreciate that so much. Yo Joe, Brian Fabian. That's awesome. I just
want to add that when I saw these, I think I finally understood what people were saying when they revealed the Arctic Flint and Lady J for the Snowcat. Because I don't know, I'm just so thoroughly underwhelmed by all 3 of these.
Oh, really? Interesting. And I think there is kind of that general feeling, but I love the Steel Core Trooper. I really, really like this one. I might like this more than the regular paint job on the Night Viper. I just think it looks really, really cool.
I think that Saw Viper looks better in these colors than the one we already got.
Well, and you know what? That's a fair assessment, and also
I get like a Stormtrooper vibe from him with these colors. So
no, you know what vibe I get? I get a Horde Trooper vibe.
Oh yeah.
Like that in this color is what put it in my head. Is seeing it this close to those Horde Trooper colors. I was like, oh my gosh, this is. But which kind of makes me like it more. And who knows when these go up, we'll see what the price point is and what's going on. But I don't know. We'll see. But That's, some actual Joe news. Not too shabby. But is that all three of us as of right now? That's a pass on the 3-pack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're neat, but
Nowhere Man Child said it had been smart if they had released a render of Iceberg 2 to help upsell these Cobras. I don't
Yeah.
disagree. I think if they had even name dropped, like, I just think of all the other snow troopers that are out there, and I'm glad you guys love the colors. So I don't mean this as an offense, but to take the Saw Viper, slap the wolf skin on it, and be like, snow. I'm like,
I didn't love
uh-uh.
the wolf when it came with the snow serpent.
Yeah, I skipped
Like,
the
I
Snow
get it,
Serpent.
and I didn't love it. But yeah, that to me is just going in the bin. Like, I'm not even going to consider that.
Well,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
liked it with the snow trooper, but with this, because he already has that bulky armor, when I was watching their Lenny and the other guy, I was like, make this make sense, because it doesn't.
well, I think it's so. Whenever they've done multi-packs, they always want they upcharge it a good like $5, even if there's not enough accessories to justify it. So with these at now retailing for $28 a piece, this is going to be a $90-something set. I
You
have
know
a
what?
feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized also is this accessory loadout. If this is a 3-pack, which here's another weird thing about this, and look, if it's been confirmed, it's been confirmed. Typically, they show multi-packs on the same background.
Well, and I'm wondering
Like,
if it's
it'll
because
be
they have blue and they
Joe
have
and
red.
Cobra, I
Yeah.
guess.
That they split them out.
But
And I
if you
guess
look at
the one thing, excuse me, I'm surprised no one has mentioned yet is not a single one of these figures come with snowshoes. Since Snow Job, we haven't seen any of the rendered snow figures, even the ones with the
Oh,
snow
yeah.
cat, coming with
Right.
skis. Like,
Yeah.
just painting
Mhm.
something white doesn't make it Arctic.
Well, and that's what I was getting ready to say is also looking at these renders, this is aside from the wolf cape and hat, this is missing the plethora of bonus accessories they throw into these 3-packs to try and get their money out of them. This is just 3 figures. It is not
Yeah.
3 figures with 10 additional accessories, but I'm sure it's going to carry that same price point. All right, well, there you go. That is our news. Not too shabby. Happy to have. Oh no, wait, we've got one more item. One more item because friend of the show, Ross Sewage, was involved with a new song release from Cold Slither that came out of nowhere. We had no idea this was happening. Cobra Claws are coming to town. Now it's currently available that you can watch the video on YouTube. You can buy the music from wherever you buy your digital music. Very exciting. I love the song.
Stop motion animation just made me just giggle.
And that was all done by Ross. Here are some pictures he put up on his Instagram of him filming the stop motion stuff. And my gosh, I tell you, if there are any artists that I have a level of respect for that I can't even quite comprehend, it's anybody that deals with stop motion, because it's the most tedious, boring. Like, I can't even imagine if I went to hell and Satan said, "You're doing stop motion," I'd be like, "Yep, that checks out." But I mean, just absolutely fantastic. Very, very thrilled about this. Thrilled to have more music from Cold Slither and more news about Cold Slither.
I really
coming.
dug this song too.
Yeah. I did as well. So this was a nice little Christmas surprise, definitely. Well, it's that time. if everybody in the chat is ready, Noel and Kristian, if you're ready, if you think you can handle what is about to happen.
Oh no, Clutch fell over on my Festivus
Do you have a
poll.
diorama of Clutch and Backstop?
Well, I was wondering which Joes would celebrate Festivus, and I thought Clutch and Backstop were probably good candidates for it.
Well,
well, we have an advance grievance from the
wait,
chat.
hold on to it. Hold on to it. Yes, you can tell by that music. It is time for the airing of grievances. This is the first, 2 weeks in a row, we're doing first evers, our first official airing of grievances. Now, I will say, we're keeping it light. This is not like how much Noel pisses me off every time he undercuts a good price I just got. Like, it's not that kind of stuff. We're just having fun here. So chat, start sending your grievances in. We will read them as we go. But Kristian, you said we have a pre-grievance grievance.
We do. So a silent interlude says, you guys are awesome. My advanced grievance is that my family is watching Rudolph tonight, so I've got to catch the rest on replay.
Oh, infuriating.
Silver and gold, silent interlude. Silver and gold.
All right. So I'm gonna kick it off. And some of these are gonna be quick, some of these are gonna have a little more explanation. We're just gonna have fun with it. And this is a legit grievance. This is something I dealt with recently with my review of the Ectomobile, which, by the way, I learned as I was doing the review and the research for it that Ectomobile is the proper name because it's what was used in the script for Ghostbusters. So anyway, why isn't everything the same scale? What are we doing? Why are there, like, if you go into any Walmart, any Best or Target or whatever, you've got all of these different lines of action figures that are almost the same size, but are not. You've got DC Multiverse, you've got Classified, and then just from Hasbro, you've got Classified, Marvel Legends, Ghostbusters, Black Series that are not the same scale. Like Marvel Legends and Classified are one scale. Black Series is another scale. I don't know if Ghostbusters is the same scale as Black Series or not, but like, what are you doing? And apparently Hasbro's deal is, well, we've got a movie scale because we need things that are representing actual people with real dimensions in the real world. They just start scaling them differently from superheroes and stuff, which dumb. Make them all interchangeable. Like, what is the problem here? It drives me absolutely crazy. And anytime something new comes out that's like, this is at the 5-inch scale, this is at the 6-inch scale, which also, that's a whole other grievance, because guess what? Inches is not a scale. So that is my first grievance. Infuriating! Kristian, grieve us.
Okay. My first grievance is the G.I. Joe PR team. Sure, the show is named after them, but guess what? We as Cobra had some wins too. How do you think we had all the money to buy all those vehicles and make stuff? So no, the show only ever shows Joe winning and us losing. So screw you, G.I. Joe PR. That's my grievance.
Infuriating. Noel, what have you got?
I love the attention to detail on classified figures. Love it. Don't get me wrong. It's great that we have G.I. Joe figures at 6-inch, this little 6-inch scale that's so popular right now, even if it's slightly different from the other like Marvel toy lines, as you were just describing. You know, the idea that when we were kids that you were actually going to get little pistols that fit into holsters very snugly, that's very nice. And I appreciate that you have the little strap that goes over the holster. But I, for the life of me, and my little like carpal tunnel hands go crazy every time I realize I have to snap that stupid little thing over the holster peg. And I will almost threw a figure across the room today trying to get that in there when I was trying to get Mainframe's little pistol holstered, because you're just pressing, you feel like you're gonna break the figure, and it drives me insane. You know what? Tiny magnets or something. Just do something that will like make that a little bit easier.
Magnets are not going to be the answer for mass market retail, because apparently they never are. But I will say what makes this even more infuriating is sometimes that works great and it plugs in and you're like, oh my gosh, did I just get that? I got it. Whoa, great. And then other times it just won't stay plugged in for anything. And it's infuriating.
Yeah, Serenity now.
That's right. Okay, so I got to do a little zoom in. I hope I get this right. Good. Okay. Next up, something that I have tremendous grievances with, and it's only getting worse. Doohingies. If you don't know, this term was coined by Brian Myers of the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. Doohingies are the little plastic tabs that hold our figures into the trays that they're in. And I hate them. Sometimes they're way too tight. Sometimes they just pop right off and it's not a big deal. But whatever the case, they're all over your floor. Whether you realize it or not, you could get up right now, walk around your toy room, and you're going to find one of these on the floor. No matter how careful you think you are, no matter how precise you think you are with cutting them, throwing them in the trash, whatever, I guarantee there's at least one of these somewhere in your collecting space. And what drives me even crazier about it is now they're going way overboard with them. Like Mattel will take a Masters Universe Origin figure that weighs, 3 ounces, maybe, is tucked snugly into its little plastic tray, but for some reason, there'll be 2 doohingies around the ankles, 2 around the wrists, 2 around the biceps. What are we doing? It's unnecessary. 1 around the waist at most is all any line needs, whether it's NECA, Mattel, Hasbro, I don't care who it is. 1 doohingy on the waist. Get it together. It's infuriating.
Well, so the chat feels your pain. So, Nowhere Man-Child, grievance, figures in clear plastic mold packaging, but also tethered to it too. Whoa,
yes.
Same time.
Well, and that's what's crazy is sometimes when you cut through the doohingies, it still takes effort to push the figure out of the tray. So what are we doing? Ugh. All right. Oh, Kristian, we've got another good one in the chat that I think is worth revisiting, even though you mentioned it already.
Yes.
Carlos.
Yes, Carlos Salinas. My grievance, lack of uniformity in neck ball joints.
Ridiculous.
100%.
And it's not just classified. This goes back to other lines that in theory should have had swappable heads, but did not. And it is one, talking about Mattel, one of the things I love about Masters of the Universe Origins, it's all swappable, baby. Well done. I'm going to take this doohingy that I kept out as a visual aid and throw it in the trash, but I guarantee you I'm going to find it on the floor in 2 weeks.
It's like Andy, it's like Toy Story. It's going to like pop out and play with your toys.
They're sentient. All right. What, Kristian?
Yes. Okay. So my next grievance is the first classified cover girl's face sculpt. You showed us this beautiful render, and then you gave us Joan Rivers circa 2013 for someone that's supposed to be a supermodel.
You're acting like that's a figure you don't want. Who doesn't want?
If it was actually Joan Rivers doing USO shows, yes. But I don't want that as my cover girl. Her eye should not be snatched back like she's doing an offensive child rhyme that we used to do. So, and infuriating.
You're getting the first stage of your Lady Cassandra O'Brien figure there. It's stretched out.
Moisturize me.
Noel, what do you got?
So let's see which one I want to go with. Let's talk about. I'm going to expand on yours with your doohingies.
Oh boy.
This is something that is very, very much a Transformers problem more than anything else, and it's those elastic bands that not only just strap to the card itself, but strap around parts of the body, and you don't realize it until you get it out and you start moving it around. And there are elastic bands around like bits of the transformer that you have to get in there with a pair of clippers and get like way in there to clip them to get that thing undone and transformed. And so especially like some of the larger ones drives me crazy. I want to say there was a couple of them on some of the Joe crossovers. So you may have seen them in there when you were opening those.
Might have been.
But
like, might be something
crazy.
Studio Series Optimus Prime was the one that like about drove me mad.
Yeah.
So, yes.
If you can't trust, because Marvel Legends does it as well, and it's like if you can't make the piece to actually stay in place, that you have to put this separate band on it. Figure something out.
Yeah. Yeah, actually that is an even better point of if whatever the part is that you're securing doesn't stay in place on its own, then you haven't engineered it well enough. And that is a grievance I'm sure Transformers fans have far more than I do. But yeah, if there's like a panel that's supposed to click into place or whatever the case may be and it doesn't, then go back to, keep working on it. All right, let's see. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one for recent, especially this time of year. This is mostly with smaller companies, but when you ordered an item and you get the notification that your item has shipped, but your item hasn't actually shipped, they just printed the label. Your item isn't actually going to ship for another week. Can we get a your label has been printed notification? Because that's just annoying. Like, oh, cool, there's a tracking number. Let me go check it out. And you either get this number does not exist, or we'll let you know once we have this item in our possession. And sometimes that's 4 or 5 days after you get that initial your item has shipped.
Yeah.
So we just need to add in a new notification.
I mean, I know for a fact because when I sell something on eBay, if I'm sitting in front of my computer and I get the notification, I immediately will buy that that shipping label within like 30 seconds of receiving the money. And I'm sure the person getting is like, wait, what? You've already shipped that thing? That's not possible because that's the notification they get is your item has been shipped on eBay.
And I don't blame the company or the sellers or the whoever for that, because that's set up within FedEx and USPS, which I think are the two main offenders of this. So yeah, I don't blame the sellers because I'm the same way. Like when I sell stuff on eBay, when I know when it's ending and I'm sitting here, once let's say I have 10 auctions up, once those 10 auctions end, I'm boom, 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 boom. I'm printing up everything and getting it ready to go. And I don't want them to get your item has shipped. I mean, granted, it's going to ship the next day. It's not going to be 4 or 5 days, but all right, Kristian, back to you.
Okay, so I'm sticking with some sculpting here. Screaming face sculpts where you do not include an alternate closed mouth head. Looking at you, Crazy Legs. Because guess what? As I mentioned in one of our previous episodes with Dr. Mindbender, I guarantee you I'm not going to be able to take the head from my Night Force Crazy Legs to put it on the Retro Crazy Legs because either the skin tone isn't going to match or that neck ball joint is not going to match. So
I would imagine the neck ball joint, because
I don't trust them.
From here to the toes, if you're listening, I'm indicating my upper neck. They're reusing those parts.
Yeah.
because that's the most cost efficient way to make crazy legs. So I don't have any problem thinking that purely compatibility wise you'll be able to do that swap. But skin tone, yeah, who knows? That's a crapshoot.
And there's plenty
No
of
relation.
and there's plenty of especially modern era Dukes that they release with the screaming face, and I'm like, I don't need a figure that looks like it has stepped on a Lego or is, you know, in the conference room diorama trying to plan out how to attack Cobra, and meanwhile they're standing off to the side with O-face. Like, it's just not right.
Hey guys, how you going today? Glad to see you all.
It drives me crazy.
I'm sorry I did that. Immediately I regret that.
Oh, that's gonna get chopped and memed.
But yeah, I agree. I do like expressive faces more than I used to. But if it's going to be that expressive, you have to include a neutral face. All right, Noel.
All right. So one of the things that was great about the original 3 3/4 inch Joes back in the 80s was, you know, you got your figures, and then several times they actually would include, they would sell the little accessory packs that you could just buy, and it was just accessories. And one of the best things about that was the figure stands, because sometimes I just can't stand the figures that I can't stand. And, you know, throughout the years, those became more prevalent in the later Joe lines when they came on the trees. And of course, we have our good friends at Small Joe's that produce these wonderful little things. I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm looking at the mobile version. So, you know, these are fantastic. Hasbro has given us some really crappy little stands on our retro figures. But come on, man, give us some good stands. The retro carded figures have, because they're very thin, they're very cheap.
I mean, look, I don't know what you're thinking Hasbro's going to do, but thin and cheap is probably about the highest level.
Well, but I have noticed with some of them, because the foot hole is shallower, it doesn't even work with the stand that's included.
Yeah,
that is unforgivable.
Well, we've got, you know, I have purchased them, and I've mentioned this before because this was my Joe and Tell sometime not too long ago. Small Joe's produces these now. They're enormous. We don't need something this large.
Right.
Give me something that works with all of my classified figures. That, I mean, I've got 3D printed ones I got off of eBay, and they're fine. But you know, some nice clear ones like this would be wonderful, or just something that's a little bit better quality than, because the QA on 3D printed stuff is not always great.
Oh, Kristian, Brian Fabian.
Yes, I
put it up because I've got.
Yeah. So Brian Fabian, grievance: companies shipping items and placing the label on the item itself.
I had a laptop shipped to me that way, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
So I ordered one of the Christmas presents for my wife. Got here, and it's like kind of a special collector thing, and it got here, you know, a week or so ago, and I went to wrap present. Like I said, I got all my presents wrapped on Saturday. That's not entirely true, because when I pulled this item out to wrap it, Amazon had slapped 2 gigantic shipping labels on the back of the box of this item. One of them was the gift label, because it was from her wish list. So it was, I think when they run out of the little gift paper, they just print it on shipping labels. I mean, look, I am not mad at the Amazon employee for this, because I understand they're probably working 18-hour shifts, peeing in a bottle, and then drinking that pee in order just to survive. I get it. It's not your fault. Nobody in this country is being paid enough to care about what they do. That's a fact. So I'm not mad at the person who put the shipping labels on the item, but these 2, full-size shipping label things slapped on the back of this item, and it's a collectible, like, potentially it will be left in the packaging as a display piece. So I sent off my nope, I'm returning this because look at this picture of what you did, because top down, your company doesn't care about anything. You're the most nihilistic company in the world, except for the bottom dollar. And so, fortunately, Amazon's very easy with returns. Like,
Yeah.
you don't even have to put it in like a box. You can literally, like, one of the return options is throw it at the end of the driveway, and they'll come get it. I don't know how they're making money doing this, but whatever. So I did a return. The other one came today. The other one did not have the label slapped on the back. However, the box looks like it was sat on, but it was recoverable, so I was able to wrap that and get it done.
Well,
but yeah, it's infuriating.
My problem with that is when they just take the item that has a box that tells you what it is, and they just put the shipping label on and they ship it to you. So like the robot vacuum I got my wife for Christmas a couple years ago. You're not supposed to get your wife a vacuum cleaner. I've gotten her 4, and she's very happy about all of them.
No, that's same.
She's asked for them.
Same. my wife's gotten 2, and has been thrilled both times.
Yeah.
Like, look,
but this
we
one
could do a whole episode about like bad wife cliches that are stupid. Like those memes. You know what? I'm gonna go in real quick. I'm gonna go into a sub grievance. All of you guys that are putting up these like hide my purchases from my wife memes and all this kind of stuff, like that's some real I can't even go into how lame that is.
But anyway. Point of that story is that like, oh, she knew immediately what I got her for Christmas without having to open it, because it was right there on the front porch with the Amazon with the shipping label on it.
I will say there is, even if you're not buying from a wish list, you can go in there and there's a box you can check to not do that, to ship it in an outer carton.
Well, it should by default, especially if you're ordering something like a laptop computer, as this has happened to me before, and they just put this thing while I'm off at work that says
that's crazy.
Yeah, HP laptop, and I'm like, why don't you just put a bunch of lights that just point things that say steal stuff off of this porch today.
Porch pirates, look here. Yeah, that's ridiculous. But yeah, just so everybody is aware, there is a setting like when you order something from Amazon, you can go in and there's a ship this, or I think it says this item will come in its original packaging. Do you need it with extra packaging, or so? It's something like that, and you can check that, and they'll put it in a shipping box. This, my mind is blown. Kristian, could you put up rec ships?
Yes. So we have our first anti-grievance, because who doesn't need a little positivity? My wife doesn't care what I buy as long as we've budgeted for it, which we always do, LOL. Because you're a responsible adult.
Yeah, right? But what blows my mind about that, I had no idea Rec Ship was married.
Oh.
Nope.
No clue. Congratulations on however long that's been going on. All right, let's see. Where were we? We were at Noel. So is it back around to me? Is that correct? You know what? This one's going to be quick. Toe joints. Get them out of my toys. They're dumb. Toe joints are stupid. All it is another point of failure for the figure. Infuriating. All right, Kristian.
Okay. So this one, this is a grievance with Hasbro. So I don't want anyone to twist this. This isn't towards Skybound. This is towards Hasbro.
Uh-oh.
With whatever company you are publishing comics through, that you're giving the license to, not keeping G.I. Joe trade paperbacks in constant print is a mistake. Watchmen, Walking Dead, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. When I worked at a comic shop, there were certain IPs that at any point you could pick up a previews and order the trade paperbacks for it. And there are certain storylines in G.I. Joe that should always be in print. I love what Skybound is doing. I love the compendiums. Not everybody could afford that. So right now, especially at Christmas time, to be able to have someone who wants to buy a present for their friend that's into G.I. Joe to walk in and buy a $25 trade of, the Return of Cobra Commander or whatever, it needs to be a thing. Stop Disney vaulting stories.
I will agree with that 100%. And actually, that's something that I feel like Marvel has been pretty good at over the past decade or so, is finding those key stories and keeping them circulated. Because I know Riley has been going through, now he's got Marvel Unlimited, so obviously that's a whole different thing. But even with trades, I know that Marvel keeps certain stories every few years out there. They seem to be pretty good about refreshing their IP, I guess, or keeping it in the public eye. And yeah, I wish now that Skybound has Joe. I mean, granted, they've done reprints of the silent issue, which I think is great.
Single
But
issue.
let's do a collection just for the heck of it. Let's do a collection of the Barovia story that we just reviewed.
Exactly.
Let's do let's do some curated classic stories just to have stuff on the shelf.
Using
But
Marvel
at the same time, though, would they look at that as, well, we're taking attention away from what we have currently?
But you're not. You can have someone go into a shop, you can sell them Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it is a phenomenal story.
Yeah.
I still live by it. Over the years, DC has undone it completely.
Yeah, they have.
Nothing about that book affects anything you're going to read today.
Undone it, redone it, done it again.
Yeah.
Undone it. Yeah.
Same thing
yeah.
with the Mutant Massacre. A good story is a good story. So
Yes.
the Barovian, the Return of Cobra Commander, the Chuckles miniseries 1 and 2, but Chuckles miniseries number 1 was such a turning point for
absolutely.
Joe, and it is hard, as our good pal Reverend Scott Stripling pointed out in the chat. He realized he was missing issue 66, tries to buy it digitally. Even the single issues aren't available right now. You're not guaranteed to walk into a comic shop or a convention anymore and find plethoras of back issues. So if you need media, you need to keep this stuff in print. Truly infuriating.
And at the very least, get those single issues out digitally. You can charge $2.99 an issue if you want to. And you're not getting the compendium sale, but people are going to cherry pick here and there, and you're going to end up making more money in the long run, I would think.
Yeah, most like back issue digital books, especially on like Comixology, they're like $1.99, which is truly in this day and age an impulse buy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
So I could be at work and be like, oh, let me just buy 5 or 6 comics here to read during my lunch break. Oh, but no G.I. Joe, because I'm already buying the Skybound stuff. That's it.
All right, Noel.
So, one thing that when we were growing up, you had toys that were released in sets. They might not all come in the same package, but like if you were when Tiger Force came out, you got like a wave of Tiger Force. You got your Cobra Law all came out together. Going to Transformers, whenever you had like a combiner set, all of the combiners were released at the same time and were sold at the same time in the store. So I'm a sucker for Devastator, the Transformers. He's one of my favorite Transformers toys of all time. Great looking combiner. when they first started announcing that they were going to do a Studio Series 86 Devastator, I was like, I am all in. And then when I found out they're going to release them over the course in 5 waves over the course of a year, I was like, no, because I'm not dealing with what happened to all those people who tried to complete Minosaur and were hunting Breakdown down for months at a time and paying $45 to $50 for a $20 figure. So I didn't do it. If you're going to release stuff like that, just do it all at once, because the people who nobody wants Hook, or nobody wants wide load, or not wide load, long haul. They want Devastator. So just release them all at once.
Look, as we all know, I'm not collecting Transformers, but that made me angry. Like, seeing that they were doing it that way infuriated me, because I know I will never forget. Everybody listening or watching this show right now knows about the mass device from the old 25th anniversary stuff, and how that last box set was underproduced and underdistributed, and you had all these parts of the mass device and then couldn't get the final part for it. And we're still doing the same dumb stuff. And you know what? I've got a double grievance. My next grievance comes directly out of what Noel was just talking about. But my another sub grievance is, well, let me go with the next grievance, because it's almost like the opposite of FOMO. So on the one hand, you have FOMO, whereas like, I'm afraid this is going to sell out, so I'm going to go ahead and buy it. But then there's something else that I'm afraid they're never going to make this or finish this, so I'm not going to buy it. And, Noel, what you're saying with Devastator, 100% has happened in other ways. We have a lot of concern right now about Nacelle's Star Trek series. We talked about that. By the way, everybody check out Hasbro Palooza. Available right now on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Just an awesome celebration of Hasbro, some figures that we love that they put out. But we talked about this a little bit on Hasbro Palooza. I think when did this come up, Kristian? We talked about the Star Trek Nacelle stuff, right?
We did.
Anyway, it's concerning anytime anybody gets the Star Trek license, because they're not going to finish anything. They're going to put out a wave that's something from the movie, something from the current show, something from the original, and it's just a mess, and you never get anything completed. And with the Nacelle stuff, I was like, man, I don't know if I even want to start this again. It's not worth it. Same thing with McFarlane Super Friends. When they first announced those Super Friends figures, I was like, well, I have no faith that they're going to complete either team, Super Friends or Legion of Doom. So I'm not going to bother with these. But now we're several waves in, and it looks like they are going to go all the way with it. And I'm like, well, darn it. I would have bought this if I'd had any faith in their ability to complete it. And that's kind of my next grievance there, is just that whole sense of like, just put it all out, or give us some kind of assurance that you're going to get to where we want to be with this thing. And now I don't even remember what my sub grievance was. What were you were talking about Devastator and not that being spread out over so long. Probably something to do with the way Hasbro does teams. And they spread it out over years.
Yeah. And it wasn't as bad with Devastator as it was with Minosaur. It was like 2.5 years, I think, for all those figures to come out. But still, it was the fear that might be the case, because things get delayed,
or things end up at Ross or whatever.
Yeah,
like it's and that, if I remember correctly, when they were announcing Devastator, they acknowledged, like, we know what happened with Minosaur, so here's what we're going to do. And you're like, oh, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put them all out at once. Cool. No, that's not, they didn't learn the right lesson from this at all.
No, they tightened up the release schedule, was the main plan, and nothing was an exclusive. So
just organically, I have made my way through almost all of my grievances. Where are you guys on your lists?
I got one or two that I could still toss out if needed.
I have three, but I have two that are important.
Okay, we'll keep going then. The next one I've got, and this is not even remotely toy related, but it just made me angry earlier. Because I got some gingerbread trail mix from Walmart because I'm not observing my typical dietary standards right now. And it had one of the, in theory, the top of this plastic bag, it has a little tab right here, and you just peel it right off and can open it up and enjoy your snack. But whether it's paper towels or these plastic bags or anything, I have noticed lately a rash of perforations that do not work.
Oh,
where the item will tear anywhere, but it's almost like the perforation is reinforced, where it will tear anywhere but the perforation.
I bought all of these acid-free bags to store my figures, the Ziploc ones, and the whole batch. They did not cut accurately at the top.
They're all completely sealed.
Yes.
Oh, that's infuriating.
So I have to take a scissors, and then of course it's never perfectly lined up at the top.
Let me ask you this, and I've done the exact same thing in the past. I know. Why would you not return them?
Because it's not worth it. Because
I get it.
It's going to cost me more in gas to get to the fixture store where I bought them from and return them than it would be to just eat it.
Kristian, you look like you've had a recent example.
As someone who gets quite a bit of the miniverse building stuff, both as a ADHD, I need something to do with my hands, and for the toy photography. That perforated packaging drives me crazy because I'm pretty sure that they just print those dots on there because it never tears. And the thing that drives me crazy, especially about the miniverse stuff, it's already blind bag, so it's in a hard plastic shell that you cannot see through. All the parts are individually bagged inside, so you couldn't see it if you open that. But they still have to put 2 or 3 layers of the perforated plastic over it, and you're supposed to peel this and now peel this, and it's like I have to go home, take an X-Acto knife to it in order to get in to I don't need Fort Knox to get into my my toys, and 2, if it's perforated, it should tear, and it should tear as one solid piece.
Right.
On an unrelated note, but somewhat related, shout out to Milo's tea brand, because they're like 1 gallon jugs of the sugar-free sweet tea that we buy all the time. About a year ago or so, they stopped putting that stupid like foil and paper seal over the top, and it just has you turn the thing once, it breaks the seal, and you have your tea ready to pour.
Nice.
No more of like trying to pry that thing out with a knife.
Dude, on a similar note, pills, vitamins, stuff like that, where you screw the top off, and then inside it has the little circular plastic thing stuck to it, and there's a tab.
And the tab is never
pull off, and the tab more than half the time, the tab rips off and leaves the stupid cover on the thing.
Or when you get dipping sauces at Chick-fil-A and you go, and it just, you get that little...
it just pulls the top, just the label part of it off and leaves the foil or whatever.
Or not even that, it pulls like a little tiny triangular strip, and then you have to like get the rest of it off with your hands.
And try not to get it all over your fingers.
Yeah.
All right. Kristian.
Okay. So, no love for eras outside of a real American hero in G.I. Joe Classified. We are how many years into this line? We have original figures like Mole Rat. We have 2 versions of Mole. Oh, wait. Pull up Tom Henry with the super
Hey!
chat with his grievance. Why no Fang?
That's a fair
Grievance.
Fair grievance.
So we have 2 versions of the Mole Rat, and we still don't have a classified version of the G.I. Joe space capsule with astronaut, which is one of the top selling G.I. Joe toys of all time.
Man,
It makes
okay.
no sense to me. We have a cop, we have a firefighter.
Hey, you take your Grim Viper and you love it.
Look,
How do we
I'm with you.
not?
I'm with you that I want this space capsule. However, the logical part of my brain, and I understand we're in grievances. This is not a place to be explaining things away, but imagine what a classified space capsule is going to have to look like to be acceptable, right? The level of detail, the level of features, whatever else. And imagine how much that space capsule is going to cost.
If they had done this 3 years ago,
Well, sure. But 3 years ago, they weren't in a place where they could do something weird like that.
Do they know? Someone has to take a chance. When they put it out in the 3 3/4, when they did those anniversary figures that were, the Frogman, the Marine.
Are you talking about something that happened 30 years ago?
But still, they did it. I don't necessarily think anybody at that point was clamoring Hasbro, with pitchforks. We need this, but they did it.
No, but the cost risk was so low at that point that who cares? Like even if that thing was $25, and I doubt it was, like that's nothing. That's negligible. But now we're talking about this thing is going to be $100 item.
Nowadays.
At least.
And
a $100 item for a space item where, yes, you have nostalgia for it, but there is zero current mainstream interest in like space exploration in that way.
I think it would still sell based on.
You could probably, and maybe it's a little Pollyanna of me because I'm just like imagining how big the original.
That's not
one
like
was.
you, Noel.
You could probably get away you could probably do that for an $80 item.
I will comfortably say there is no way.
Or at least maybe 2 years ago you could have.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. We're not talking 2 years ago. Well, if Tom Henry would buy one, we know we're not getting it because he's been wanting to buy a Fang for all time now, and they just won't do it. Tom Henry, you've got to stop saying you'd buy stuff because clearly you're on Hasbro's hit list.
But not even the space capsule. I'm just talking in general. We got a retro Cobra Trooper that really isn't a Cobra Trooper. So give us a Neo Viper. Give us.
I mean, it's a
there's
Cobra Trooper.
So
it's
many
not
other
retro.
There's so many other figures in the G.I. Joe line that have really cool, interesting designs. No, but there was no design
occasional
for Mole Rat. He wasn't a known character. Shooter, same sort of thing. It was a figure that never had a figure before, and we all really liked her, and we bought her. I think that you can branch out and do some of this, recognize some of the other lines and eras of G.I. Joe, and if you make a good toy, people will buy it.
Yeah, they did Helix, they did Kamakura, so those were more recent Joe characters that were
fair.
Although I didn't buy Kamakura because I had no interest in a deluxe figure that wasn't worth more than a regular figure to me.
Well, and that's where I think, and we'll never know. But yeah, that was a weird decision. Like, okay, we're going to branch out. We're going to do something from outside of the original line, and we're going to make it a deluxe. Huh?
And an
Like,
unearned
that's
deluxe is what and that was actually it's one of my
yeah.
grievances is unearned deluxes.
Yeah.
Because there's so
Yeah.
many that I'm like, I get you're trying to get an extra, like, it's $10 now more for a deluxe figure than at the time it was probably like $8 more, but still.
But if you're going to do that, do it with a character that can earn it. Like,
Yeah.
do the Jetpack Hawk and make it a deluxe, or do Doc and give him a really robust field medical kit. Like, do something with Kamakura was such a bizarre choice for that price hike.
Yep.
All right, got to keep going. Noel, what is your next official grievance? And we're going to wrap it up after yours.
Official grievance. I'm going to talk about you know what, Hasbro, you're this iconic company, and we know that other companies can do it, but just put a little bit more love in your packaging and your first of all, we've got multiple different eras of these classified figures that have come in different types of boxes. I know that they decided to go with these windowless ones for a little while, and that kind of threw off the aesthetic. Now the box is a little smaller, and they're very nice and they're very sleek now. But like, I'm not a mint and box collector, but boy, if I was, I'd be pulling my hair out seeing like all these different sizes and shapes of boxes throughout the years. But also, again, I keep these. These are these Super 7 figures because this is so well thought out. This has this classic, Hasbro look. It's got this great file card. Everything is very nice. I can sit here and enjoy the packaging for 20 minutes before I open the thing. The closest we've gotten is them trying to do these retro card figures, and these pale in comparison with this look. I get it. You're trying to maximize your profit there in multiple countries. You got to print like 4 different languages, or 5. Is it 5 languages on here? Regardless,
a lot.
This is garbage. I'm just going to throw this away when I'm done with it. So yeah, just a little bit more thoughtfulness in your package. There's some things that you do very well, but that's just not one of them, especially not with G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I will agree with that. And with that, we bring to a close the 2025 airing of grievances. And that brings us to our favorite segment of the show, the one where the Audible Army gets to give their input as to what we're going to talk about on this very show. And that is Sound Off! Every time we're doing a live stream, we go to the Audible Interlude podcast Instagram account. We post a sound off image where we request input as to what we're going to talk about here on the show. We've got some pretty good stuff this evening that we're going to get to. So without further ado, let's sound off. Up first, Yorktown Joe. No topic specifically, just wishing you all a happy Festivus. Okay, and a Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Thank you very much, Yorktown Joe. We always appreciate your input, and we have had a very good night, and I think a successful airing of grievances. I feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Silent Interlude. Will you be gifting any Joes for Christmas? My kids aren't really interested, but I did get one figure for a friend, and I'm on the fence about buying some reaction dogs. I'm going to guess that's supposed to be figs, maybe, for my nephews, who I won't see until after Christmas proper. Still deciding because they're also not super invested in Joes, but they're young enough that maybe I can give them a gateway figure to get them hooked. So for me, no, I'm not gifting any Joes for Christmas. My My son's just not. His thing is Marvel and DC. And as far as relatives, no, just don't really have anybody crying out for a Joe gift. What about you guys?
I
Yeah.
do. Well, in the sense that I have a package that's supposed to show up on Christmas Eve. If it doesn't, and it doesn't show up until after Christmas, then it's not a Christmas gift. It's just I got something off eBay.
Oh, is this a gift for yourself?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I thought maybe like it was going to be a gift for somebody else, unless you get it after Christmas, and then you're just going to keep it.
No.
Which I've done before.
Yeah, I have also done that. A solid move. G.I. Joe Collector 76. What is the most holiday miracle collecting story you've had, either as a kid or as an adult? And by the way, happy holidays, guys. You are the best. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We do feel like we do great work, and we do feel like we're the best. So this one was a little tough. Have either one of you guys got a specific story for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go Noel.
Noel, go for it.
Well, mine's one that I have mentioned on here before. It was shortly after we started this podcast back in 2020. I got a message from my friend Doug, who lives up in Portland, and he was like, "Hey, we're moving back to Atlanta in the summer, and I want to give you all my childhood Joes. I just, I'm not doing anything with them, and I think that you would definitely appreciate them." He didn't wind up moving back to Atlanta because of this whole pandemic thing that happened in 2020. But he shipped them to me, and they arrived like 3 days before Christmas in 2020.
Nice.
So like it was kind of, and he paid for shipping from across the country. And I mean, I could not express enough gratitude for like how thoughtful that was, just to think of me after not like talking for like 10 years, really that much. But yeah, so I had a blast just opening those up and seeing. I've talked about it before, but he had done a lot of customizations on some of them, and just seeing like how much love he had put into these toys when he was a kid, and now they're in my hands, and like it was great. It was better than any of my childhood Christmas memories from Joe, and I had some pretty good childhood Christmas memories. We talked about one last week, or last live stream.
Really, all I've got is just the year I got the flag. I mean, I've, in a weird way, collecting and Christmas are kind of separate things for me, because I, with the way that I collect, I don't expect anybody I know to necessarily add to my collection around Christmas, like, because they can't keep up with what I get. They can't keep up with what I want. I don't expect that. So they're really two kind of separate things. I will say, over the last however many years, even though I don't put out the, hey, I need this thing, the missus has done a great job of making every Christmas pretty awesome, like with a mix of collectible stuff and other things. But I mean, the flag is going to be the 1985 Christmas. Got the flag. I mean, I that's the biggest, wildest, oh my gosh, I can't believe this Christmas ever. And compounded, while I'm not into the I have this and nobody else does, like, that's not really a thing. It made an impression on me that I was the only one I knew that had the flag. Like, I did get that special feeling out of that. Like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Well, mine is not G.I. Joe related at all. But when I read Holiday Miracle, I'm thinking in the terms of every holiday movie I have ever seen where there's a fantastic twist at the end. And so the story or the memory that is the strongest is 1993 specifically. It was my second year of college, and I had never stopped buying toys or collecting. I went home for Christmas break. Toy Biz X-Men. Keep in mind, that was the toy line of 1993.
Yeah.
And getting home for Christmas break, my parents were like, oh, we're going to go do some Christmas shopping. What do you even want this year? And everything I listed off was a video game or an action figure. And my parents set me down and had what I like to call the talk with me
Oh no.
of, you're an adult now. Don't you think it's time to grow up and do adult things? And it's great that you have all these toys. You don't need any more toys. It's time to let all that go. And I was convinced that my Christmas was going to suck and I was going to be very, very, very unhappy that year. Because 1993 was the year that Iceman came out in the Toy Biz X-Men line.
Dude, we were just talking about that figure.
Iceman, thanks to Spider-Man and his amazing friends, being one of my favorite X-Men since I was a little kid. And his figure was impossible to find. Where I went to school, right outside Cincinnati, I had so many Toys R Us's, KB Toys, comic book shops. I hunted like a dog. Could not find this figure. So Christmas Day,
real quick, until recently was still the best Iceman figure that's ever been produced.
Truth. So Christmas Day, I get one box and I am prepared for something stupid, like, I say stupid in the eyes of a toy collector, something like a boom box or some electronic piece of gear. And I open it up and it is a box full of X-Men action figures. And right there at the top are Iceman and Strong Guy. And
oh man,
I was absolutely ecstatic because my two favorite characters, there they were. We actually ended up having a bad snowstorm, so I was not able to go. I was late going back to college for, coming back from Christmas break. So I used that time, and it was the first time I ever did, I guess you should say, toy photography. I did, because I was very much a video kid. I was in television broadcast, and I shot a lot of video and photos so that when I got back to the college and I had access to a studio, I could put together a music video using X-Men action figures, which is long since,
awesome.
Been lost to time. But not only did I get Iceman, but my parents never again questioned me growing up or the fact that I will always want toys.
That reminds me a little bit of in 1995 when, after a few years of absence of me not wanting toys for Christmas, when my mom asked me what I wanted for Christmas that year, and I just said, this was when Power of the Force 2 came out, I want Star Wars toys. That's all I wanted was Star Wars toys.
Yep.
And she looked at me sideways like, what?
I had a similar experience. It might have been that same year. I can't remember the timeline exactly. But there was one year where I've talked before about getting that Star Trek bridge set from Playmates Toys that had the original. It was the first time they produced the original crew in that Playmates Star Trek line. I got that, and then I think I got that Power of the Force. They replicated the early bird set.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got both of those things the same year. And it was after the talk that Kristian had. Like, I got the same kind of talk. But I think those were both, I think those might have both been 95. I'm not positive, but it was right around the same time.
Well, Nowhere Man Child says, it ain't a miracle, but I got some redback file cards and a Starduster card casually sitting inside a stack of file cards for sale at a toy store that didn't prioritize Joe file card values.
Nice.
That is a miracle.
All right, next up, Scott Stripling Art. Airing grievances? My only grievance is you guys aren't live every Monday. Other than that, good job, guys. What Joe toy did each of y'all ask Santa for this year? Don't you dare say the flag either. So no, I would not ask anybody for the flag because nobody needs to deal with trying to get me a flag in the condition I would want it to be in. Honestly, I didn't ask for any Joe toys because I get what I need. So those weren't on my list, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really ever ask for anything for Christmas. So
no, I take that back. I asked for the Snake Eyes polar bear set. That is on my list because I didn't want to spend my own money on it, but I wouldn't mind getting it as a gift. So that actually is on my list.
There you go. Well, I had a certain figure that I had kept my eyes open for this year and decided to ask myself for it for Christmas. So I don't want to say because it'll be here in time for our next Joe and Tell. Hopefully it's here Christmas Eve like it's supposed to be. But I will follow this up at our next Joe and Tell.
Okay. Well, and you know what? I think I've gotten the spirit of what Scott was asking. In theory, if you were asking Santa for a Joe toy, what would it be? So we're introducing an element of magic and wonder into it. And look, it would be the flag, but he said, don't you dare say the flag. So, okay. Then I'll say the Defiant. What about you guys? What is your one Grail Joe item that you'd ask Santa for?
If it was asking Santa this year, then I would be asking for a very decent condition with all of his parts, Zartan and Chameleon.
No, Santa it up. Mint in box.
Yeah, it's
case fresh.
No,
one to open for a video to make everybody furious, and one to keep mint in the box.
I'm good. I'm good. You know, the Dreadnoks are all a little dirty and grungy, so I'm okay. I just want him to have, his knee pads, his chest plate, and no loose joints.
I'm not that big of a fan of the Defiant, so I'm going to say, because I can't say the flag, the G.I. Joe aircraft carrier released in 1995. I don't know what it was called.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, because I can't say that flag thing on there, so I'm going to mention that G.I. Joe aircraft carrier that was released in 1985.
Oh, 85. I thought you said 95.
Did I say 95? Oh,
sorry.
You did.
I was still stuck on Power of the Force 2. So, 1985. It's an aircraft carrier.
What massive playset did we miss?
Noel's going to cheat, so we'll move on. Ed at the Beach. Do you think they should do more hardback compendium of the comics for the non-Larry Hama books? I would buy them, but I would buy any of them. Yeah, of course. I think they should release, everything. I would love to have the DDP stuff collected. I think I've got all of it. I don't think I lost any of that in the flood. But I would still like to have, collections of it. I'd like to have digital copies of it. So yeah, absolutely. Anything should be brought back into print.
Yeah.
Sneezy the Squid. Our pal Gary from the Dragon Con American Sci-Fi Classics track will be wrapping it up this week. What New Year's resolutions will your favorite Joes and Cobras make, and who breaks theirs first? Cobra. New year, new you. Kristian, you want to kick this one off?
Okay. So I'll go quick. First up, Dialtone's resolution is to finally finish his degree. Second, Outback, his resolution is to be more social. Third, Firefly, his resolution is to get revenge on the band Owl City for that 10,000 Firefly song. Crocmaster, to get thrown out of the Wynn Buffet in Vegas for eating too much. And then who is the first one to break theirs? Obviously Shipwreck, because his is to not drink or make anyone uncomfortable during his monitor shifts.
Solid. So I took this kind of literally, as I sometimes do. Gary said, your favorite Joes and Cobras. So I literally chose my favorite Joe and my favorite Cobra. So my favorite Joe, Sergeant Slaughter, resolves to start another sub-team because 2 isn't enough. And then my favorite Cobra, Firefly, resolves to add a fancy hat to his uniform. And the one that breaks their resolution is Firefly because he doesn't want to wear a fancy hat.
So for mine, I didn't pick my favorites, but I only picked a couple here. So for Bazooka, it's to cut out junk food because, as we saw in the Devil's Due comic, he has a tendency when he's not, he's not active. He's sometimes binges a little bit. Zartan,
well, and he loses his mind over the frozen fudgy bar.
Well,
too.
and
like clearly there's signs of addiction.
Yeah, for Zartan, it was to focus on self-reflection through journaling, mindfulness, observing his patterns, just getting to know himself better. Both of them are clearly going to blow these resolutions. Yeah. But Bazooka, he already broke it with a frozen fudgy bar. He found a frozen fudgy bar in his freezer on January 2nd, and it blew it. Zartan, it took a few months for him to get into another character and just completely forget who he was.
I would think what would happen with Zartan trying to journal would be that every single time he would just branch off into some fictional world. Like he wouldn't even be keeping track of his actual personality's life anymore. But yeah, good call. Both of those good resolutions. And yes, they're both going to be broken. And that brings us to the end of another episode of Audible Interlude. I'm exhausted from that airing of grievances. I had no idea how deep and powerful those grievances would be, but I'm glad they're out. They're out there in the world now and can be addressed by the powers that be. And hopefully our lives will all be improved by sharing the things that are making them less than they could be. Our music is by Andy Samford of electricminnowmusic.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast. Kristian, where can we find that toy photography that you do so well?
You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky under the name Legion Cub.
And Noel, why don't you tell us a little bit about The Finest?
The Finest is an international G.I. Joe costuming club raising money for a wonderful organization called Canines for Warriors. We did it, guys. We hit $10,000, which was our goal for the year.
Excellent.
So, yeah, but you know what? If you still want to donate, you know what? All the money still goes to a great charity. And we're going to start with a brand new slate next year. You can see us at your favorite toy show or other convention and, help us achieve next year's goal.
Excellent. Well, you can catch us next week wherever you get your podcasts with our first ever Audible Interlude Year-End Awards. And then our next live show will be January the 5th on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Until then, yo, Joe.
Cobra. La 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 la.